We got Arjan Bhullar back here on the program. He's going to be taking on Marcelo Golm coming up here at UFC Fight Night 138 in Moncton on October 27th. Arjan, how are you today?
Doing fantastic, man. How you doing, James?
I'm doing very well. It's good to chat with you again, and we haven't seen you in the cage since April. Here we are talking about a fight at the end of October. Did you want this much time off, or were you looking to get in there a little bit sooner?
No, I wanted to get going right away. Like as soon as I got home, talked to the coaches, we were healthy, feeling good, just wanted to get back out there ASAP. But cards were filled up, man. I asked for, we looked for Texas, we looked for LA, we looked for Calgary, and it just wasn't happening. In a perfect world, I'd love to have been gone to Calgary or LA and then Toronto. That would have been a perfect year for me. But it is what it is, and October 27th will be the next one out.
Yeah, for sure. At least it's in a Canadian city. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of support coming out there, as you usually do. Your last fight, UFC Fight Night on Fox, or sorry, UFC on Fox 28. I know things didn't go your way in that one. What did you take away from that fight? I mean, was it just a simple mistake? How do you sort of assess your performance in that fight?
Yeah, we addressed it in-house. I did not put it squarely on myself before anybody else. That fight was going very comfortably, very smoothly. We were winning every second of the fight, the stand-up, the ground, everything. I got a little complacent mentally. It wasn't, you hop over on that omoplata, or you rip your arm up, or it's pretty simple. I didn't think he had it. I tried to limp arm, and I was a little complacent. The respect wasn't there, and that's something I've addressed. So we'll be October 27th until the bell rings. I'll be full steam ahead, fully focused, and taking nothing for granted.
Did your good friend Daniel Cormier give you any advice after that fight? Because he's a guy who, he fought Jon Jones, and he's had to come back, from some adversity as well in his career.
Yeah, I mean, just wrestlers in general, we compete so much. You have losses, but it's what you do with that. And there's a process I have, which is similar to DC and others, I'm sure, where you take what you did well, you take what you need to improve on, and then you throw it away. You don't allow that. You don't hang on to that. And that's sort of the process that I went through. And like I said, I'm excited to get back in there. I felt the last fight was going great, and this fight is going to be even better. It's allowed me. I've used that to get even better. Not only skill set, but just the intangibles.
For sure. And let's talk about your opponent. You're taking on a tough guy here in Marcelo Gloam. He's got that 6-1 record. How do you feel like you match up against him?
I think it's going to be a great scrap, and I think I match up beautifully with him. We were actually supposed to fight for the Hard Knocks promotion in Calgary many years ago. It was my third fight, I believe, and he ended up pulling out, and then they brought in some other Brazilian. So we've kind of known each other. After his last fight, he wanted to come down to AK and join the team there. So he's been floating around, and I'm kind of happy to put him away and get him out of my life moving forward. Yeah, like you said, he's 6-1, and I think that's going to be you can debate skill sets. Obviously I think I'm better in multiple areas. You can debate athletic abilities. You can debate experience. But it really comes down to the intangibles, I believe. If you look at him, when it's going his way, he does great. When he's getting hit, he shells up. He goes straight back. When it gets tough, he concedes. All those things are there, and that's where I feel I'm going to take over. I'm going to push the pace on him. I'm going to back him up. I'm going to make him uncomfortable. I'm going to make him concede the victory.
And I know for part of this training camp, you've been at American Kickboxing Academy. How long were you out there for, and who are some of the guys you got to work with, aside from the usual DC and Kane and everyone else?
Yeah, I was there for a month, and then the second month here back home, and I'm bringing guys into town. The month there was fantastic. It was a great environment. Khabib's getting ready for the big fight. Last time I was there, DC was getting ready for Stipe, so it seems like the fights are just getting bigger at AKA, which is fantastic to be around and just soak up that training environment. It really got me, going on my camp. But like I said, I'm back home now. I'm with the people that got me to the show. I've got quality training partners that we've brought in, and just building on California's work and moving forward for the 27th.
I know in the past you've brought in Anthony Hamilton, the UFC veteran, and I know he had a fight actually. I believe it was last month. Did you bring him in for this camp as well?
You know what? He's a little older. He's got a family. Maybe not as much motivation. I don't know. I can't speak for him, but if I put myself in his shoes, that's where I would be at. So we've brought in his opponent, So he's come through Potter, and very similar style. So it's good, and we've got a couple other guys as well. But funny you mentioned his name.
Yeah, no, I was actually interviewed someone else on that card that he fought because I was in Washington, and yeah, so Dylan Potter is the guy you're talking about here,
That's right.
his opponent, right? Yeah. Okay, interesting. Yeah, up and coming talent as well, so that's good. Let's talk about your corner. Who's going to be there in the cage with you coming up here on October 27th?
The usual suspects, man. I got my brother Jag. Been there since day one, since we were 5 years old. He'll be there. Great wrestling mind. Got Jay Johnsey, brother of Josh Johnsey, who's getting ready for his glory title fight against Sidichai. Great kickboxing mind. And then Adam Ryan will be there. He's the lead coach, MMA coach, great jiu-jitsu mind. Got a well-rounded unit in my corner.
How do you see this fight unfolding on October 27th?
Like I said, it's going to be the intangibles. That's what it's going to be. I'm going to stop him. He doesn't like being uncomfortable. He doesn't like to work. He doesn't like to get backed up. He likes to be the bully, all those things. And that's what I intend on doing. I intend on showing the difference between a prospect and a champion. I'm a champion. He's a prospect. He's not ready to train like a champion, to be a champion, to win like a champion. He's young. He's a prospect. Great future down the road potentially, but I'm there. I am that guy, and I'm going to prove that.
Just got a couple more quick questions for you. Jinder Mahal, are you guys still in contact? Any news on him and you maybe linking up again?
For sure. I mean, we text periodically. I haven't chatted with him in a little bit. He's doing his thing in the pro wrestling arena. Actually, Bobby Lashley's coming to town in Abbotsford Center on the weekend. I'm trying to hook up with him. We'll see if that happens. But Jinder's always doing well. He knows I got love for him, and it's mutual, so it's all good.
And obviously, we saw the tweets. Jon Jones going to be returning to the cage, always eligible to return at the end of October. Just your reaction to that, and the whole process of him being brought back from his USADA suspension.
Give me a break, man. That's ridiculous. I think everyone across the board in the sport, covering the sport, feels the same way. That thing is ridiculous. I mean, he should have been given, if we're following the rules, a 4-year ban. It's a multiple offense. At the best deal he could have got was 2 years. If they were able to strike something, prove something, whatever. And he gets 15 months, a week before the New York card, which doesn't have a main event. It just looks shady, man. And it just, just integrity. It's, are you doing what's right for the athletes? Are you testing guys and holding them accountable? Because my understanding is he's been in the testing pool the entire time. He's got tested once in that time. And this is a guy who has failed multiple tests. And guys that, like DC, he got tested, I think you're saying like 7 or 8 times in that time span. He's not going to pop. Look at the guy. You know what I mean? Like he said, he's been tested 70 times in his lifetime, no questions. I have never known. I've been wrestling internationally since I was 18 years old. I have never known an athlete that has tested positive because of a tainted supplement. And yet it seems like that's the defense for everybody. How can that be? I've taken supplements. I've known athletes on the world stage since I was, like I said, over 10 years now. Not anyone that I've known has had that problem. Why is it always Malky's guys having that problem? Why is it always, that's always the defense? It's just shady to me. And you know what? And that part, I guess, end of the day, he's a money maker. Money runs the world. Let's not try to pretend otherwise. And I'm not even saying, hey, as a fan, I want to see Ubri. I want to see Vitor all jacked up. It makes for fun fights, 100%. Fans really don't care, so they can't pretend. And you know what? It's almost like a game. Like, you know what I mean? I don't get it. Just be real. Like, for example, and then the part that really annoys me is he does all that, crashes his Bentley, multiple women, hits a pregnant woman, takes off, hides under a cage from drug testers, and then he's quoting the Bible. What are you saying? Own it, man. Like, and I don't really care. There's no sweat off my. I don't sit here and think about it. But just be real. I do. Mike Tyson was a savage. He owned it. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. You don't like the channel? Change the channel. That's his attitude. Just own it. Why are you quoting the Bible and talking about redemption and this and that? Like, give me a break, man. I'll tell you this. He's before I was married, before I had a kid, we probably would have had a good time. I wouldn't mind going out with a guy. It probably would have been a wild night. But just own it. Stop trying to pretend you're quoting the Bible on the other hand. Give me a break, man. That's all.
Have you talked to DC since they announced that Jones is back?
Oh yeah, he's disgusted, man. You know his reaction. I think Fox picked it up pretty quick there. He was on TV pretty quick about it, but he can be a little more candid off camera with guys like myself, and it's a joke. If you're not going to test guys who have a habit of using either performance enhancing drugs and or recreational drugs, then what do you like? Who are you going to test? You're going to test the guys who aren't going to pass just to show that you're testing people? Like, what's the game here? You know what I mean? So just it's one of those things. Again, I left the Olympic sport and the Olympic movement because it was equally as dirty, if not more. It was more hey, the national federations worked with their athletes to pass these tests because they wanted the result. You know what I mean? And but it was open. Guys talked about it, and it was what it was. And I thought, you know what? This is one of the reasons I was really excited about the UFC. You saw it as a real, random testing is the way to go. But when you start picking and choosing and it's not random, then what do you have? You have the Olympic system, which has been compromised for decades.
I'll tell you what's not compromised. This fight, man, this is going to be awesome. It's coming up here, UFC Fight Night 138 on October 27th. Arjan, it's always a pleasure, man. I always appreciate you taking the time. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Yeah, no, you know what, guys? I appreciate all the support. October 27th is going to be a lot of fun, and tune in. And aside from that, follow me online, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the one Arjan Bhullar, the one ASB. Look me up. I appreciate the support, and can't wait to get out there October 27th.